We live? Hi everyone, JB here from our amazing MMP Academy here in London. So we're thrilled to be with you and Hairbrain to do this live stream. So what we're going to do today is we've got this unbelievable hairpiece here and a great wig. And first of all, the absolute fantastic model. Her name is Gift. We just did the tribute show together in Paris, and then she's going to come with us tomorrow as we have the amazing Bubble Zoom final, and we're going to release our new collection over there on Monday, and she's going to be one of the models. So fantastic model. So the idea today is going to be to show you a little bit of, first of all, how did we create this beautiful texture. So you can see it here, you've got the actual wig set there. So the idea behind it, when the wig is coming, it's very long and totally blonde. So we'll talk about it a little bit later, but we've actually utilized the amazing Lumen from Goldwell for the color. Jean-Marco later on will explain to you the exact tone that we've been doing. But it comes totally bleach blonde. Now we've colored it all, and we've actually pin set the whole thing using what we call a rickracking technique. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to a young man called Sebastian. He's one of our assistant teacher. He's already started to travel across the world with us. He spent about 3 days to rickrack the whole thing, but now on the front of you he's going to do one. So the idea of it is we're going to do the first rickrack on the front. We're going to show you how we actually take off all the actual pins, and then after the idea it's cutting the shape really all freehand, so a little bit of freehand technique. So please welcome Mr. Sebastian.
Hey guys, I'm thrilled to be here with you. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do a rickrack. So if you guys come in close, so you've got to prep the hair before you actually start rickracking it. We use number 5 from Goldwell. It's really good because it's actually got a good amount of hold for this kind of work. So what we're going to start with is we're going to use a pin. We've got these special pins which are really ace for this. But so what you got to do is you open the pin up. Oh. Then we're going to do a figure of 8. So you're going to go over, then you go under, then you go back over. So it's just a figure of 8 motion going over and under. This is just repeated all the way through. So now what you do after you've done your figure of 8 is you actually go back through to do it again, but making sure you've got a lot of tension on the root. So you got to go back through, and if you can see, you push a lot onto the root because you need to get tight on the root, because if it's not tight on the root, what happens is you don't get the sort of volume. So now we're going to go through and finish off the rest of this. It does take quite a lot of time to actually complete one of these because it's very intricate and delicate, but it works really well and gives you some amazing texture when you finish it.
So is it what happened? Does it damage your thumb as well? So to do that for about 3 days in a row?
So actually, yeah, it really hurt my fingers after a while because I think I spent about 25 hours probably completing this wig, because it takes a long time to do each section, as you can see, and you've got to be very fine to create this kind of effect.
Nice. I mean, you know, what's very important as well, as Sebastian is demonstrating now, is that we've done a lot of different variation, I would say, of how to recrack the hair. And if you don't really push the hair in and you're not very tight on it, what would end up happening is the actual shape collapse. So you'll see at the end when we start cutting, if you don't have this very compact feeling directly at the root, it's very difficult to be able to cut the hair into a 3-dimensional shape because everything kind of collapsed down. So here you can see it's very compact, it's very dense. We'll show you a little bit afterwards how we're gonna actually brush the hair out on those areas. But you know, very important when Sebastian talked about the actual spray here, which is the sprayer number 5. Jean-Marc, do you want to come on that one just 2 seconds? The idea of this spray, which is very good, is it is not wet. So you actually have to kind of spray quite far away of what you're doing, and then as it goes into this very nice mist, then it goes very strong. So this is exactly what you need here. So you fix the hair without wetting it down. because you'll see afterwards we'll be utilizing 2 different sprays to actually cut the shape. But if we actually use any type of spray that is wet, the actual texture of the shape will kind of collapse. So Sebastian, almost getting to the end there.
Yeah, so it actually gets very tough towards the end because it gets very fine and intricate, but it's still the same motion of over and under, creating that figure of 8 to create the rickrack effect. So as you can see now, I'm actually going from the top just to get these ends in. But the ends always are a little bit tricky.
Fantastic. This is a work of minutia, isn't it? It takes some time.
Perfect.
Also, please do not hesitate. If you do have any question during the viewing, please go for it. We also have the MMP live on another phone with Rodrigo here, but please feel free. We're very, very happy to kind of answer to all your questions. So now, next step.
So to finish off the rickrack, you actually use a pair of straighteners. So what you're going to do is just heat up your shape, what you've created, because it's going to seal it. So you just go through for about 5 seconds and just heating up the shape.
Amazing.
Perfect.
So when do you know when you're ready?
So now you can see the shape and you can actually see how tight you've got to do it to be able to create this kind of effect.
Wow, this is a work of art. Absolutely amazing. So, thank you, Sebastian. Brilliant. So now let's go to the next step of what we've done actually in the entire other technique. So what we're doing now is that we're going to remove the clip. This, by the way, is our new gold clip. They're really amazing. They got this very nice strength to them. So I'm going to remove both clips. We're going to actually leave that section till the end because it's still warm. It will allow the hair to set a little bit. So I'm going to grab the hair. So now to relieve it, what we do is we just pin it back, and it goes back into shape. Oh, so it's very easy to kind of take out. I'm going to remove them all first. Now I know that through the Hair Brand Live, we actually have all the American audience that's probably totally in the middle of doing all their client now because it's the middle of the afternoon. I guess it's about between 3 to, I think, midday, I guess, depending on if you are on the East Coast or the West Coast. So I hope you guys can have a little bit of a kind of cheeky look in between 2 clients. If you don't, I think live stays quite a bit on the actual page anyway, so you get the chance to watch it later. So it's very easy actually to kind of remove. Now, once I've actually worked and removed those areas, I'm going to go more one by one. So I'm going to grab those areas here. I'm going to utilize, this is a brand new brush actually that we just got from one of our retailer that we have in Japan. It's really nice actually. It's got a little bit of an in-between feeling of the vest brush and the Mason and Pearson. So it's got this very nice way. Look, and as I brush back, all the shape retract in itself, and you get this very strong, tight feeling towards the root. So I start from the root, and then I go towards the middle and the end. Now what happens a lot in the end, as you've seen here, it's very tight. So we have, and it's very important to brush the hair a little bit stronger afterwards. So do we have any questions so far? Everything okay?
Yeah,
Can everyone
is loving
properly?
it. Yeah, so far we have all nice comments.
So look, I'm really putting the hair out. I hope you guys like the color as well. I think it's absolutely amazing color. Really amazing. So you might hear a little bit of hair dryer in the background. Actually, at the end we've got Anthony finishing his clients. So we usually are in the salon quite late, and we finish the salon usually between 9 o'clock every evening. And finally here, really brushing again all these parts. So you see the preparation actually of everything that we do here, the preparation of everything that we do here is 90% of the work. As you can see, cutting is actually not going to take very, very long. This is probably going to be a very short live video because last time that we did more about precision cutting, it actually took quite a long time. This is not going to be the same situation because cutting the shape, it's actually quite fast. So now I'm going to get towards the final section here that Sebastian had. So I'm going to pull everything out. Again, up. I'm going to get that out here and have a look. See? Totally, really, really tight, really bouncy. So that's a perfect rickrack. Actually, what's very interesting is there's a lot of different way of working with those shapes. So here you see you've got this kind of zigzag type of shape that you have, which technically is not a real Afro-Caribbean texture. The real Afro-Caribbean texture should be more kind of round. So what's very, very important is if you want to create this very, very round shape, you'll have to use a metallic tail comb or a chopstick and go all around it, which actually you could end up doing a full head of hair like that in about 3 weeks. So that would have taken so long. So we preferred going towards a slightly faster version.
We had one question so far if this is a wig, but
Yes,
yes.
it is. So someone probably joined just now.
Yes.
You can actually see the wig here just from the back. You see? It's an amazing wig that we have done basically in... it's a direct contact that we have from China. I actually have no idea who the young lady is, but we connect together towards WhatsApp messages, and a few days later we actually get the wig by the post, and they've got a very decent price because I know that very, very good wigs like this are tremendously expensive. This is actually quite nice. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to think of what I want to create in terms of shape. So I'm going to move a little bit the shoulder here so it gives me a little bit more space. I'm going to give as high as I can. Now, of course, you know, I think she probably look very, very cool like this, but we're going to go for something a little bit more strong. So now, probably 5 pounds, I would say, Afro-tone that I've got in an area here in Brixton. You probably get some very, very cheap one as well over the US. But what I do, now that the whole shape is brushed out, I'm going to just come and push the hair out to try to get the much height as I can into the shape. What's very important before we start cutting is that we get the most even shape as possible. So of course I'm going to pull the hair towards the face here as well. Now what's going to be very important is the way that I'm going to cut. I'm going to have to be very careful of the length that I choose because I do not want to go too short so people can actually see the wig. So I'm going to have to keep a certain, I would say, length of security.
Someone has asked what the colour of the wig is, or did it come this colour?
So, we explained that right at the beginning of the video as well. So the idea here of the wig, it comes totally blonde. You have this very, very beautiful, I would say, level 10, totally blonde, almost white. So it gives you a white canvas to work on. So this is why you can after play with really, really a lot of different type of colors. Now, for me personally, when I have such a big texture, I prefer playing with only one actual color, not to put two. It's a lot better. Now, let's start working with the raw shape. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to work with one of our new scissors. Actually, this one is a 5-inch, very, very simple blade, you know. And I'm going to start to locate what I want to do. So I'm going to look from the front here. And I can see the way that it's been built, it's slightly higher on this side. So I really like the heights on this way. So now I'm going to basically come in and then start to create my shape. So everything is totally freehand. And you see now, as I'm going quite tight, this is why I have the actual texture being very nice and even. So I like for myself to put one hand behind my back when I do that, because I think it gives me a little bit more balance. When I got two hands, I kind of like not know 100% where I am. I found this the most amazing thing to do. I love it, absolutely love it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get the raw shape out of this. So I'm going to remove all the little fluff that I actually don't need. You see, suddenly it gives a lot more compact type of shape. So do we have any other questions so far? Anything good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check again the shape. See where I'm gonna go. Right. So I like this type of feeling here, so I know I can go a bit deeper into it. Sometimes what I like to do is to finish one side almost completely first, and then going to the next side after. Now you see at this stage, I have not put any product yet. This will actually come in a very short time. But working with long blade, I think it's easier because it's actually kind of like help you to be a little bit faster with your first work. You can move on to smaller scissors after if you want, but I really believe that those large scissors here are just perfect for this kind of job. And this is very interesting because I've never really done a live while I was doing this, because usually when I cut this kind of shape, I go silent. I just love it. You know, it's just like you're in some kind of zone and enjoy yourself cutting hair.
So we have actually one question that would this ruin your scissors if you are cutting dry, this type of hair?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, those scissors that we have here, these are retail about £199. It's actually a very good, decent price for like starting scissors. We also work and we have an amazing collaboration with Mizutani. Now, Mizutani is a much higher price. I think we retail about $749, $699, depending on their scissors. And I will not cut wig hair with those, right? This is just, I think, my second kind of scissors, I would say. But I don't think that will totally ruin them, I guess. You have to be careful of the amount of product that you have, I think. This is what can ruin the actual scissors. If there is one, it's fake hair, and then two, it's actually a lot of hairspray on it can kind of damage 100% the blade. So, I'm looking a little bit how things are going from the side. I'm starting to like in that shape. Now once I've got this part going this way, I'm actually thinking that I want to have a shape kind of going down that way here. So this is when I'm going to start coming towards the front. So the first idea is to remove almost the fluff or the fluffy area that you've got towards this part.
Sasho, my friend, hello Sasho, he's saying that it looks almost like when you're chopping some kind of bushes.
Yeah, it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Totally, it's exactly the same thing. There's no difference here on actually working into this kind of shape, and then when you've got the garden, it's just like working on a tree. It's very, very similar. Now, let's see what we can do towards the other side. So I've got a really kind of nice point that can come through the front here. So I'm gonna go into the hair. Now, obviously, I've had a few questions that are usually very similar. People ask me, what if after the person washes her hair? Well, of course, it's never gonna come towards the same shape. But in here, what we're trying to do is very different. We're actually working toward a lot more kind of conceptual hair, something you would do for a show or something you would do for a soiree. It's not very much the idea of you're going to work on client hair like that. I think it's going to be very, very rare. Thanks, Anthony. So, I'm going to start working with this shape. I'm getting really to remove a lot of the actual fluff on the top. This is what I want to get rid of. I want to really see this compact shape. So I can actually say that Sebastian did an unbelievable job in a rickracking, because that's exactly what we needed. You see this kind of moussey feeling. Slowly getting into the shape I'm starting to like. And those type of work as well, I think what you have to do, which is very important, it's a little bit down to your imagination as well. So we need to kind of see the shape, you know, processing in our mind. It's really like, you know, three-dimensional. So we need to kind of like have the imagination on it and slowly start to kind of imagine it and see it. There, this side. So instead of using the comb anymore, not in this part, probably a little bit later. But for the moment, because the texture is so nice, we're actually keep the texture of the hair as it is. Now, if you want to come closer, Gianmarco, just 2 seconds. See, you've got this very nice moussey texture everywhere, but just here, there is a gap. So what you can do is you can actually work a little bit with the actual scissors to kind of really re-push the hair into the shape that you want. Or even pull a hair out and then recutting it. So there's a lot of different texture, you know, or placement that you can do. Now, I can see here I'm going to start to have a really nice little shape towards the front. I'm going to increase that shape. So the idea now is I'm going to work with the strong spray, the strong finish from KMS. So I'm going to spray the hair. And I'm going to go with the actual camera spray, and I'm going to start to push areas that needs to be pushed. And this is really nice because it's going to start to create a little bit more of, can you see the flatter feeling that we've got now? It's something a lot smoother. This is, you know, by using the spray. Sometimes what happens, I've done it too many times, but if I work too much with the fingers, the finger gets sticky with the amount of spray that we're going to use, because you're going to see we're actually using a lot of spray here to create the shape. So I'm going to do half with my hands, half with fingers. So, I'm going to start thinking of what I'm going to do with the other side now. I'm going to start working with the top first, and then I will finish with the shape. I think from now I want to keep that little angle there, but I want to go really down and deep towards that side. And now again, I'm starting to remove all the little fluff.
Someone,
Out of the way, yes please.
someone did ask, can you use a machine to do this?
Yeah, of course you can, definitely. The only thing that I found is it depends. By machine, I guess they mean clippers, right?
Yeah,
Or
probably.
crimpers, I think they may be thinking.
Add to the texture.
Oh, for the texture or for cutting?
Yeah. Well, they didn't.
They didn't really
specifically
say.
ask, but
Well, I mean, in terms of the crimping, I don't think with the crimping you get that much compactness of the shape. The shape will not be as compact. The shape will actually be kind of coming out. With the crimping, you get the texture here. You very rarely get the heights. So I think this is why here we just decided to do more towards the reflecting shape. So, getting there here, I'm kind of see what I want to do towards the back now. So I'm starting to looking at the shape in different ways.
So we had actually a question from Sasho about well, he asked if this is a wig, but it is. But the other question was that it is really fine to find some good Afro wigs like that. So it's almost like.
But first of all, it's not an Afro wig. That's the thing. It's just a normal wig.
Yeah.
It's a normal wig that you have to actually create the texture on. And this is why when you see the amount of hours that you need to put into, it takes a lot of time. It takes a really long time. Now have a look from the back now. If you can see from the back, you start to see a little bit how the shape is starting to process. So I'm just really taking my time. The hair is like falling here like waterfall. Okay, nice. So, I'm going to leave the outline for the end. I'm quite often a little bit scared that if I'm actually cutting the outline too quick, I will eventually sometime reveal too much of the actual wig. So I'm preferring cutting the shape to start with, and then after we'll see what I'm going to do with the rest. The idea really here is always the same. That cutting it short so it gets tight enough. So this wig will actually be used not only for what we're doing today as a Hair Brain Live, but also is going to be utilized for Salon International in London. So Salon International in London is starting next week. So we will have different sets of demonstrations and our new collection that we are going to release. And this is going to be the wig that we're going to utilize. So we might make a few alterations on it, but we're going to keep the actual main colors and shape.
So we have another question from Amy. Would you always cut Afro hair freehand?
That's a very good question, Amy. Thank you. Do you know what? This is very interesting because the first time I actually learned how to cut Afro hair was all this thing about you have to cut it once, you have to brush it, you have to cut it another time, you brush it a second time, you recut it, and then you brush it a third time, you cut it, and then it's fine. But actually, I realized that you can brush it a million times, it's never going to be perfect. So this is why, often what I like to do is, depending on if it's a client or if it's a model, but usually I like to cut it technically first, then I dry it, I bring it all out, I play with the texture so it's a nice sphere or a nice angle, and then after I let the client go. Because if you start brushing it all the time, it will last forever. You're going to spend a lot of time basically cutting it. So I would say it's mainly the way that I like to cut Afro. I love with passion cutting freehand. Because also it's very different than what we tend to do every day. I don't know if you know much about our company, but what we do and what we're known for is for precision cutting. So the idea about all the education system, it's line graduation layers, round, square and triangle, and then we create haircuts for the individual. So everything is tailor-made, everything is about suitability. So usually is all the haircut that we do starts from wet to dry. It's got section, it's got all the actual, I would say, step that you would do, from wet cutting. When I get to do that, I absolutely love doing it dry. So that's why I like to keep the actual technique in a very pure way of like the old way of what in Africa they used to cut Afro-Caribbean hair, which I probably think they still do it today, combing the hair out and then create the shape that you want to create.
So we have one more question and comment from Marcus. He says, "Hi JB."
Is that Mr. Marcus Grolish?
Yes.
Nice. Hey Marcus, how you doing, my friend?
So he just said that it's amazing, like always, and your team has such an amazing philosophy with your new company, fresh, new, and just incredible. What kind of wig brand are you using?
Thanks, Marcus. It's very kind word. For those of you who do not know Marcus, he's an amazing educator. He's based now in Mexico. We're going to do some work together in December when I'm going to get there. And to answer to this question, I do not know the name or the brand of that wig. As I said just earlier, it's someone that have been given a contact. I've been working with a lovely gentleman called Fabrice for a brand called Subtil in France. And then Fabrice actually got the first wig. And then when I asked him, well, where did you get that wig? This is amazing. He just gave me a phone number through a WhatsApp number. So I just contact the person. It looks very weird actually, because you just contact someone through WhatsApp. She asks the length that you want and everything, and boom, 3 days later, you get a package from China. And actually the nice thing about it, it's the price. Because when you see the actual, when you see the actual gorgeousness of the hair, it's totally real hair. It's actually quite long. I think it's about 18 to 20 inches. It's just magnificent. And then it's only about $120 to $130 US, which I know that I've seen similar wigs for about $400 or $500. So it's a very, very good value for money. We don't actually do that much wig work for ourselves, but for this type of work, yeah, definitely, I think that's very nice. So now I'm going to get towards the second part, which I'm going to work a bit more with the spray, but also with my hands this time. So I'm going to spray the hair and I'm going to just tuck the shape in. I have not done anything on the outline yet. This is something that I will do in a little moment. I wish you could be here just to touch this texture. It's unbelievable. Sebastian did an absolute cracking job. Keep your head straight, Papa, please. Thank you. So you see, I'm not spraying for actually too close. If I spray from too close, it wets down the hair. If it wets down the hair was going to start to collapse. So in here, I need to keep kind of a good distance of, I would say, about 30 to 50 centimeters.
So someone wanted to know if you still use BMAX scissors or...
We are now working in a very, very strong collaboration with Musitani. So basically, we will become also the Musitani distributor in the UK starting from next month. And Musitani are making a pair of scissors specifically for us that is incredible. By far the best scissors I've used in my entire life. So we've got only 24 pair arriving, which basically is supposed to be in 2 weeks' time. It depends if everything's going to go quite well with the delivery. But out of the 24 pairs, they're limited edition. So I think already about 18 are pre-sold. So we only have 6 or 7 left or something like that. So very, very exciting. But for the moment, these are just some scissors that we've been trying for us. You know, they branded MMP as well. This was more for like barbering. This is a 6-inch. And we have our little crown jewel as well, which this is called the little black scissors. So it's 5-inch. MMP one as well. We deal directly with a factory in Japan. Really, really beautiful scissor. Super, super nice. So let's start to bring a little bit more definition to this shape. We'll start cutting a bit more in the center here to add more texture this way. No, you know, I think it's important that the question that we've had just earlier about scissors is that, you know, I think in everything that you do in life, you make changes, right? And I think, you know, you sometimes, you know, have some collaboration that end up changing because you know, the way that your work is changing as well slightly. And anyways, what's very important in everything that we do in our industry is that you always have to be willing to be able to change. I think this is really, really important. I mean, this color is absolutely sensational with the light. This is also, you know, something that's very, very important for us at MMP, is that we have this glorious relationship with Goldwell. And, you know, Goldwell, I think, you know, for us is definitely the best color house there is in every level in terms of like keeping the quality of the hair, you know, the shine, the actual amazing color that you can do just on a normal client in a salon, from highlight to tint, to working on something very, very strong in terms of show and education. It's for us like something absolutely magnificent. We've actually did this summer a really nice tour all around Asia, and then we did some really, really beautiful shows and everything. And we actually had a couple of weeks like this that we worked through different colors. That was really nice.
So people want to know, where can you actually buy the scissors from?
Well, the scissors is very easy. You go to our website directly. You can contact us direct, and then we'll have the administration team coming right back, and then you know, explain to you how you can make the payment and how you can basically get the delivery, which is very easy. We use UPS. It's simple, efficient, and you're sure to receive the package. We actually now, I think, probably retail in about 40 countries across the world. So it's something that we look at expanding a little bit more in the next, I would say, in the next few months. We're also going to have a stand at Salon International, which we're going to share with our colleagues. So we're very, very excited about that. So once you come, and if you come to London, and if you see one of the actual show that we're going to do, either at the Hairdressers Journal stage or at the fellowship stage, you can come to see us, have a look at the model closely, and then we can take you to the stand, and then you can come around and have a little test on the scissors if you want.
So we have one more question, a little bit similar to what we had before, but so why did you use more a scissor instead of a clipper to create this shape?
That's a good question again. You know, you can totally do it. What I found that with the actual scissors, once you work into your shape, this actually gets into the cut, and then it's cleaner. The hair stays into shape. What happens a lot is when you start to spray the hair is getting a little bit stickier. So when you actually have the blade of the actual clipper hitting a harder surface because it's full of product, it will push the hair out. So you don't have this kind of neat definition. So this is a lot better, I think, for me personally, to cut the whole shape with the actual scissors. But again, you can do clippers. I just think that a lot of the time, it's not the same tidiness.
So, Colour Dude was asking how to create this texture, because I think he missed it at the beginning. Would you like to
Colour Dude is my very good friend called Norman from Canada. He's actually works in a salon called Taz in Toronto, and we're going to see him in November. It's going to be part of the Live With. Big love, my friend Norm. So, I mean, what we've done is we had a very, very long blonde wig that we colored, and then after we just used rickracking technique straight from the start. If you get the chance, Norm, you can go back to the beginning of the video once it gets posted, and then you will see actually Sebastian's working in one of the rickracking techniques. But yeah, thank you very much for the question. How is Norm? Is he all right?
Yeah.
Big shout out to the whole team at Taz. So, you see now, I'm starting to have something happening on the top that I like. It's a little bit too fluffy here, so I need to get rid of the fluffy area.
So Ben Brown was wondering, what scissors do you recommend to do the shape? Like, what size?
Guys, if you do not know who the lovely Mr. Ben Brown is an incredible educator here, based here in the UK, but also he travels across the world. Please check him out on his Instagram page. I think he's got tons of followers already. I think probably about 150,000 or more. Really great friend. He's also joining us each time that we are doing live whips. So Ben, hi my friend, thank you very much for the question. What I was saying was that for me, bigger the better. Scissors, obviously. And because I think, it's quite important. It kind of helps you to kind of focus on the shape a little bit more. And when you work on real hair, any scissors that you want in terms of your price scale, you can go for your little diamond that you have into your kit roll. But on this, I'm using kind of slightly cheaper scissors because I don't want to damage the blade, as it's not, entirely real hair, I guess. Even if the actual quality of the wig is fantastic, I'm not too sure if it's 100% the same. And what you've got usually as well internally, sometimes you've got some very random pieces of fibers. So that will actually destroy totally your scissors. I hope this answer to Mr. Ben's Brown question. So as you can see here, I'm having actually a lot of fun. This is really nice, really, really nice.
So what? Someone was asking how you created the color. Are you going to go through that later?
Yes, we will go through that later, 100%. We've got Gianmarco on the other phone holding the Hairbrain live, and actually Gianmarco and Fanet did the color. So Gianmarco's got the recipe, but we have the bottle there. So actually, you guys, you can talk about it. Gianmarco, take over for a few minutes to explain about the color.
Okay. Hey guys, it's me, Gianmarco here. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about the color, what we did. It's actually not a very, very difficult one. I'm just gonna show you the bottles in a second. So what we did is we used a lumen color. So we have these three colors here. Yeah. So from the TK et al., which is a turquoise color, we used about 30 grams. And we just added a little bit of the yellow, which is YY et al., which gives a little bit more this kind of greeny sort of effect. And then we added quite a bit of about 20 ml of the clear as well, just to kind of make it a little bit more softer. So if you have a little look at the color, that's what gives it a little bit of this kind of translucent matte green effect. So it's just working with the lumen is great because you can actually test the color out, so you can actually mix it out and then just try it out on a white piece of paper, and then you will see the effect. Obviously you have to be aware of what you have on the underneath, but because we had a very clean blonde color, it was quite easy to get the result what we saw on the white piece of blank paper.
I mean, the actual shine and gorgeousness in terms of color of Goldwell is totally unparalleled. It's really, really amazing, like fantastic, really amazing. So now I'm getting really happy with the shape on the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it. So I'm going to get back to a slightly stronger spray, so get back to the KMS one. And start to go and work towards the front area afterwards.
So we have one question from Joan. So he was just asking about if so what are your kind of thoughts about the suitability when you're creating these kind of like afro shapes, and
That's
what
a very interesting question.
if there is anything like what you like kind of take in consideration when you do this, or how?
I think, to be honest, this is because one is going to be for Salon International, so it's going to be for a show. Two, it's because it's so dramatic and so expanded. Basically, the only thing I'm looking for is to get a good model. So here I'm very lucky with Gift. She's a professional model. She's absolutely gorgeous. So I know anything I do will look good, right? On her, I mean. You know, so this is I think very, very important. Now, as I mentioned earlier when we were actually talking about the actual creation of the shape at first, this is not something that you usually do on your day-to-day salon clients. So this is definitely more of like, you know, I mean, I don't really like to use the word art, but it's more like almost more like an art form rather than just a haircut. So the suitability part here is not as important as being into a salon situation. But it's a good question, very good. So now I'm going to start slowly to imagine what I want the end result to start to look like. So now I've got all my outline to take into consideration, and I'm going to actually start my outline from the back. So I'm going to come towards the back here. So you keep on put slightly head forward. That's it. Very good. I need to check not to go too tight, so we can't really see the actual wig here. So up. So guys, we've got Anthony here. We're going to introduce Anthony to the audience that don't know him. Please, Anthony, come and say hi. Introduce yourself.
Thank you, JB. It looks amazing. Hi, everybody. Who's who? Is that Hairbrained or?
We are Hairbrained.
You're Hairbrained. Hi. So I'm Anthony. I've been with M&P for over 3 years. I work in the salon. I was actually just finishing my client. It was a beautiful little one length with a little bit of tension just to create something a little bit more expanded. But also I do a little bit of travelling as well. So I travel with a team teaching technique, as JB was saying, which is the line, graduation and layer, and then we focus on the geometries as well. But this is the type of stuff I love watching. It's creative. There's obviously technique. What Sebastian was doing over the last few days was amazing to watch because it's just consistency. But what I love is the creativity of it. So, but yeah. So nice to meet everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's funny when you ask a question because you're not actually asking anybody, but you are.
Don't worry, mate. I'm gonna rickrack your hair tomorrow. I'm gonna do some nice shape as well.
Perfect, thanks.
So now I'm getting towards the side. I'm just gonna nicely kind of work into that shape. I need to push the hair a little bit as well. I don't want to kind of miss too much here on that texture.
So, do you want to remind people what's going on the 4th? What's going to be happening here?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I don't know if some of you have been aware, but we are doing something that's called live with. So the idea is that it's a little bit like a music gig, I guess, but for hairdressers. So we'll have about 14 different hairdressers here in the actual premises. Everybody will be in a different section. Everyone start cutting hair around, I think, 7:30, and that will go towards probably 9:30. And you will see a big panache of different hairstyles, techniques, education, salon work, cutting, coloring, barbering, even wig making, everything. So it's something that we started earlier on this year. It's now, I think it's going to be the 3rd. We did 2 in London, 1 in Singapore. We have 1 coming in Greece. We have 1 coming in Canada. We have 1 coming in Sweden. And the idea is everything is free. So it's all about sharing lives. So basically everyone that comes in here to watch have their lives on, and then we just share it as a community. So it's a very, very exciting event. We have some incredible people as a lined up. To name a few, we've got Tim Hartley, ex-international creative director. So soon he will be coming this time with Tina Anderson, directly from the US, which is actually Danish. We've got the amazing Giannis Kumachi that's going to do it for the second time, or the third time actually. We've got a gentleman called Nikolai, that is an amazing barber coming all the way from Russia. Who do we have as well? Guys, help me here. There's so many. This time it's just so unbelievable.
We have Jean-Baptiste as well.
We have Jean-Baptiste Sentence, who's actually an amazing session stylist. He actually does most of the wigs when he gets to the fashion week. He does a lot of wigs for Guido, so he's absolutely amazing. If you have a chance, go and visit his Instagram because it's so inspirational. So yeah, so if you want to tune in on that, I think that's very, very exciting. It's been a lot of changes for us basically since the beginning of 2019. We are now almost 10 months on, and it's been a roller coaster. You know, it's been really good with a lot of different kind of education platform across the world, starting some very different type of event as well. Also carry on doing basically the education here in our academy in London. It's been really, really exciting. And I think what's very important of what we have now is that the hairdressing world really works very strongly as a community, which I think is brilliant. We're all together on this. So now what I'm doing is I'm slightly kind of moving the hair away from the face. It's nice to reveal a beautiful face when you have one, isn't it, Gift? So still using the strong spray. Now, don't know if you can see on the camera, John Marco, but you see a lot of different kind of textures here from the hair. So these are the one now that I'm going to start to remove.
So earlier on, we had Josh Lamonica saying hello and congratulations to the recent news. And
thank you, Josh. Thank you, my friends. But Josh is also an incredible like global educator. He's got also like, you know, I don't know, maybe 200,000 or 300,000 followers on his Instagram. He does really, really beautiful, amazing work on his barbering techniques. And then hopefully he will be part of the next live with as well, if his wife is willing to let him do it. Now also, as I've been talking about barbering, we cannot not talk about the two amazing barber extraordinaire from Ireland, Mr. Johnny Baba and Mr. John Keegan. They will both be joining us as well in the next live with, so we're really thrilled to see what they're going to come up with. They're absolutely amazing, both as educator and what they do with their salon work and businesses. So I think the shape is looking quite good. Gonna go towards this side now. So I'm gonna have to pull the hair slightly to the side. So this is usually at the end when I get a little bit more silent. The last final little kind of refinement of the shape, and then after what I will do, I will just finish with the hairspray and just little final pieces.
It looks fantastic, G. I love the colour.
Colour is amazing. It's really, really funny. Did you give the whole recipe, John Marco?
oh yeah. Yeah, it's really good with this color. I think you know, obviously the different kind of shades you had, it will work always differently, because this one, the element It's not an oxidizing color, so whatever kind of level you have, obviously the more effective and the more stronger the color will came out. So obviously we had a super blonde wig to start with, so it was very lucky because we could do whatever.
I think the start of the color makes it very easier, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
You don't really see colours like that though.
No.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's almost got a little bit of yellowiness.
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
green.
yeah. It does.
It's like almost like an emerald.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually it's a turquoise color and
Okay.
it has some yellow.
Yeah, you can see it.
So,
You can
yeah,
see
yeah.
it's almost like grass when it starts to change from like summer to autumn.
Yeah.
Can you say like a greeny apple as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
100%. But it's shiny as well.
Yeah.
And that's what JB was saying earlier on about the Gold Bell colours, is you do get that beautiful shine from them as well.
And what's interesting, I think, wherever you stand, even here when you're walking around, depending on which light you see it from, it always kind of, it changes a little bit.
I'm just going to clean up now towards the side. I have no idea how long is the live been now.
1 hour.
1 hour, perfect. Last time we had a precision cutting one, I think it lasted 2 hours something. People was getting like, when is he going to get out of this phone? So that this time will be a bit shorter.
Will you be doing something similar colours in JB?
No.
No?
So color zoom will be different.
Okay.
It will be a different cut. It will be a different color. We are actually very lucky. We are going to showcase our new collection at Color Zoom. All of us, the whole entire MMP team. You'll have also Mr. Sebastian that you met just earlier in this video. 18 years old. He's going to be on stage in front of 3,000 people to showcase the new collections. I think it's going to be very, very exciting. And I'm not going to cut hair this time. Not me. It'll be a whole entire team cutting hair, and I'll just be with you guys having a little bit chit chat.
And it's obviously my birthday, which is the main reason that we take this day out, I think.
I've never seen someone banging on about his birthday as much as him.
Every year as well. I've got a birthday every year.
Happy birthday, Anthony.
Thanks very much. I love it, JB. It's interesting you're talking about the hand down in the back thing, because it does just seem to be the best way to balance, doesn't it, when you're doing something like that.
So it actually hasn't taken you that long to cut the shape in.
No. Well, as we said, I think it's like maybe, I would say, 90% of the whole look is in the preparation to get the hair, and then after the combing out, the actual, way of working with the shape afterwards, the cutting is very quick, very quick. Now, I'm going to finish the haircut and I'm going to ask Giv to actually stand up. She's going to stand up, my darling. We're going to come straight behind the chair here. Perfect. And now I'm just going to complete basically the shape. So I'm going to, once she's standing up, it's a little bit easier for me. Everything that's kind of like, if you want to come here, John Marco as well. You can see from the profile all those tiny little pieces of hair that are here. So this is when, it's the moment that I can really make sure that everything is nice and neat. Why?
In the meantime, guys, actually, because this is a wig, but I'm gonna show you a picture of what we did for a previous collection, which was actually on real hair, wasn't it, JB? Not the red one.
Yes, totally.
So I'm gonna show them.
For our collection called Forgotten Circus that we shot in
Russia. So
2014 actually.
in 2014, Forgotten Circus. This is actually been made on a super long red straight hair, and then and actually it's been cut exactly with the same technique what JB used now. So yeah, it looks pretty cool.
But it was not a wig. That's her real hair.
Yes.
So our live stream just dropped, but it's back on now, so hopefully we can get people back on.
I'm almost there. Little. How is the shape looking?
Amazing.
So a nice couple of last questions, if people wish.
Well, we just have people commenting on what an artistry kind of haircut, and then it looks great.
I think it's just different. I think it's just a different way. This is why I think, working on those type of shade are, I would say, really very exciting, because it's not something we do every day, right? So it's got a very nice kind of different perspective, because you think about it and you see it in a different view. Usually, it's more about the precision of the shape that you're creating. You blow dry, you see how it goes, and so on and so on. This is very, very different. This is more about actually expand the shape as much as you want, and from this, just play with it. So it's a really very different thing. So, I'm almost done. I want to just get a little bit more spray. So a couple of questions before I'm gonna give the final recap, please. It's now.
Well, we just have a gentleman called Pascalian Giannello.
Oh, this is my spiritual dad,
And yeah, he just loves, basically he's been admiring you for many years, and he loves that you're humble and extremely sympathetic, and then you have all this creativity, and you always have an amazing touch for suitability and beauty, which is probably your French side.
He said that because he's French. But Pascal is amazing. He's a wonderful, wonderful hairdresser. He's worked with the best brands in the world, and then he lived in a lot of different countries as well. He was in Manila for a while. Now he's in Switzerland. And every time we see each other, there's so many nice things that comes across our conversation, because someone like Pascal has an amazing love for his craft. He's had that love for so many years, and I believe that this is what happened a lot in our industry, is that it's really something that we do, that we love. We do that because of the love of our craft, and I think it's absolutely amazing. Head straight, my darling. Perfect. Now I could have gone a lot stronger on the hairline and everything, but I'm not going to do it, because I think often what happens, it just looks really fake, so it's kind of nice to see a little bit of different texture. So my last final piece here, I'm gonna check if, shit, I don't have a clipper here, it's in the back. And do you mind to just give me a clipper? I totally forgot to do it here. Put my clipper at the back into my frame. I think she was pretty cool. There's something really amazing about that color, actually. Depending on which light hits it, is more orange or yellow or green. It's really cool. Really, really cool.
So we have one question from Ollie Mines. He's asking if we are going to be able to recut the wig and rebrush it with cutting a shorter shape.
That's a really good idea, actually. It's a good question as well. Now, usually, and this is what actually happened when we actually went to do the show in Asia, when we did from Taiwan going to China. You can use the same wig about 2-3 times easily. So it is just, this is why here it's actually quite, I would say, thank you very much. It's actually quite a long version. I can do a much tighter version. The only thing I have to be very careful is to see through the actual wig towards the scalp. That's the only little problem that you can have. But apart from that, yeah, you can cut it 2-3 times, I think, easily. But I think it depends also how you want to see it. You see, for me here, I want to see it very compact. Sometimes you want to see it a bit more disheveled, you want to have little pieces of hair that pops out here and there, less geometric, but this totally is up to you. But yes, you can definitely cut it a few times, that's no problem. Thank you for your question. Okay, so always a good time to stop. Just check the front. There's one thing here that I do not like so much on the front area here. I'm gonna just retrim. Not very fine. You see, this is why I'm utilizing, a scissors that is not my most expensive scissors. That's why I'm not using my Mizutani at this stage, because basically, the hair is full of product and I feel it can damage the blade very easily. Okay, so let's give it a little recap of what we've done. So this is a wonderful model gift. So the idea tonight was to work with an actual wig. How do we create a rickracking technique? So you had the amazing Sebastian there that showed you how we actually work with one piece towards the front. So, coming really close, and then after we have one here, because we do. So we utilize those type of pins, So starting very, very close to the root, and then after just doing an H shape, going into a rickrack all the way down towards the bottom. Then after what we did, we just utilize the irons, so it's nice and sealed with a little bit of spray, and then everything is brushed out. So we brushed the hair with 2 different brushes. One brush is quite tight bristle to kind of really expand the texture, this one, and then working with a very classic type of afro comb. So once we cut the shape all out, the idea behind it after is all cutting freehand. So I actually started with the top section. You can start with the outline if you want, but for me I prefer working up towards down, because it makes it easier to see how much density of hair I've got towards the top section. With the density of the hair that I've got here, it shows me the heights that I can go. From the heights that I can go, I just choose the shape that I can do towards the side. So one side would be a bit more straight going towards up, and this side was to try to have a bit more of like a strong edge, but like more inside towards the center. Then when you get towards the back, you just have like a really nice type of little rounded shape. Very, very simple, and just this little kind of almost 3-dimensional shape here towards the front. So guys, I would like to say a massive, massive thank you to Hairbrain to actually let us do this amazing hairdos on Give tonight. Thank you very much to Gerard, Courtney, and the whole team, Randy as well. Hopefully we get to see you guys during Salon International. Thank you, Sebastian, to work mega, mega, mega hard on like 6 weeks of intense rickracking to get this job done. Thank you for Gianmarco for holding the camera for tonight as well. Amazing thank you to Gift to be our gorgeous model for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you wish to come and do education with us, please do not hesitate. Contact us directly through our social media or our website info@masculineempowerment.com, and then see you all very, very soon. All the very best. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.